My name is Snyder. I'm a retired 25-year Army vet. I've been married for 20 years, got 2 great kids, and I currently work as a SEER instructor for the Special Warfare Center out at Fort Bragg.
Greetings and welcome to Cork Graham's Critical Thinking Corner, the Cork Graham podcast. And because of who we're talking with Snyder. And you recognize him from Discovery Channel's Naked and Afraid, but also a lot of you may not be aware of is his military background with the US Army, with Airborne, and also specifically with SEER as a SEER instructor, and a longtime instructor in a variety of skills that I think just about everybody should know how to do, just because of what's coming, what is happening already in the United States and throughout the world. And if you're not paying attention, we're already hearing about what's happening with the Strait of Hormuz and how that's affecting the fuel supply. And I've talked about it just previously about the importance of understanding not only what we always assume, which is just petroleum and fuel for your vehicle, but also what are the other products that are based on petroleum, and what can you do to be able to abate the issues that are going to be coming, i.e. this year. If you're into planting, we'll be talking about what you can and should be doing, and I've been doing for years, which is to create your own fertilizers, to work with what you have in order to create the nutrients that you need for the foods you're going to be growing and the animals you might be raising. So, EJ, welcome.
Thank you.
Again, we're going to be broadcasting here. We are broadcasting on Cork Graham's Critical Thinking Corner podcast, and also on the 5 Acres and a Moose. And if you're listening to this on the Cork Graham podcast, please go over to the podcast for 5 Acres and a Moose, because that's where I'm going to be doing more and more hands-on how to work and live on a homestead where you can benefit, whether you're living on a large homestead, a small homestead, or basically you're just trying to grow things to make yourself not have to spend so much money at the market. So, EJ, let's talk about what's happening in the world. I mean, you're very well aware of what's happening we've got the war in Iran. We've also got things that have been leading up to that. I mean, what are you hearing from your people?
It's a very crazy time, and a lot of people are getting very nervous. And, with anything in life, everything that you have to understand out there, folks, is it's about mindset. Mindset's everything in life. Mindset sets the stage for everything. So if, for instance, you're getting very worried, very stressed out, very fearful, you need to put that stuff in a bag and just put it off on that shelf somewhere, because that's not going to help you, because nobody's coming to save you. It's all on you. If you're out there truly being off grid, or even if you're not off grid, let's say you're in an apartment or you've got your family in a suburb, it all still falls on your shoulders. I wrote this book right here, the Emergency Home Preparedness, and then we had a video on it called the Ultimate Bug-In Guide, and we talk about all this. It's all on your shoulders. So everything that you need, you have to figure out. Now, yes, the Strait of Hormuz is having some problems. Does it really affect us over here in the U.S.? Not particularly. But what if the U.S. all of a sudden wants to be very greedy and start shipping this stuff overseas now? They want to become the big oil broker. Now you've got a problem, because now there's not going to be enough for us because somebody's greedy. So let's say it breaks down. Let's say there's some attacks in the homeland. Now all of a sudden our oil's getting hit, our electrical grids or whatever. That's going to cause problems for manufacturing and everything else. So that comes back to you. Now, if you're in Alaska living there or wherever you're at, you got to figure out the old ways of doing things. I always preach to my students and all my clients, have a backup to the backup to the backup. Primary, alternate, contingency, and in PACE planning, we have emergency. And then I always call plan Z, the zombies are coming plan.
Yeah.
So you've always got to have a plan for everything. And if you talk in the simplest terms for survival, I always start, my 9 pillars starts with mindset. We just talked about that. But what's next? Shelter. What is your home looking like? What's the security plan? What have you put in place to make sure that, because the bad guys are going to be out there. And when this world goes, folks, not a lot of you are going to make it. And the reason I say that is because when all the supply lines are done and the world's just thrown into the darkness, the first 2 weeks are going to be so crazy, the first month, but within 90 days, is my opinion, half the population on this earth will consume itself, if not even a little bit more. By the time the smoke clears, by the time 6 months is done and this world really goes into a apocalyptic scenario, there's going to be about 33% of the world's population left on this earth. Is one of them going to be you? And the way you make that one of you is get in the right mindset, get your training, get your anything that's out there that helps you, because this little electronic device you're watching us on right now is going to be gone.
Yeah.
So books are knowledge, people are knowledge, community. So who's in your neighborhood? I've seen so many times where a natural disaster will happen. People don't even know who's in their own cul-de-sac. They don't even know there's a doctor living across the street. So get to know. It doesn't matter if your neighbor's 4 miles away, 2 miles away, a mile away next door. Get to know your community. What are their skill sets? What can you help each other with? Now, that's establishing your base. That's your shelter. That's your home. And, in that home, let's say it gets cold. Are you relying on oil to fuel your home? Or do you have a wood-burning stove? Because guess what's not going to be not available? Wood. Wood's going to be all over the damn place. Mm-hmm. But do you have it processed right, ready to burn, not frozen, not in a poor condition, rotted? So you got to look at your home base. How is that set up for success? Yes, you've got solar panels. Great. That's just your own grid on your off-grid spot. It's just private to you. Mm-hmm. What is your backup to that? Because solar's never guaranteed. Do you have hydro going because you got a creek nearby? Do you have some windmill stuff going on? Do you have other forms of fuel? And now we get to next would be water. What are your water systems in place? How are you going to purify that stuff? Because water it may in the future become the next gold. Mm-hmm. Because our water drinking sources are being contaminated. They're being less pure, and these government folks, they're messing with the weather. Yeah. Who knows what they're dumping in there? So what are your water systems? Do you have rain catches to catch the rain? Even though that could be questionable at times, but do you have it at least? Some water is better than no water. You either drink or you die, right? So then you get into, we in the wilderness, we're going to call it fire. How, in this case, how are you cooking your items? How are you boiling your water? How are you purifying things? Mm-hmm. Do you have a grill? Do you have a fire pit that you're going to have good, capable equipment to cook with? The grills, surfaces, and then you get down to food. What is your food plan? Because the store shelves are not going to be there. Well, I'm going to go out and hunt me something. Well, hunting isn't as easy as people just say that all the time. I'm just going to grab my gun and I'm going to go shoot a moose. Well, I hope you do and get good at it. Mm-hmm. I teach my students, look for crossbows, bow and arrow, a smaller caliber gun, like maybe a 22 or something for smaller stuff. Because when you fire a weapon out there, I want to save my bullets for the bad guys. I don't want to waste ammo on an animal if I can just hit it with a bow and reuse that arrow. Mm-hmm. And when you fire a weapon, they're going to hear it. Now you gave your position away. Oh, he's got a firearm. He's just down something. Let's go take what he's got and eat that for ourselves. Oh, and by the way, let's take his gun away from him and hold it on him and make him go show us where he lives and take the rest of his shit. Mm-hmm. So those are things you got to factor in. How did the folks in the 1800s, or even better, the 1700s, or native people do things? Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, if you're off-grid and your toilets, you're not recomposting, meaning you're going in a bucket and you're not carrying your own waste into a composting pit where you got a rake and you got grasses or sawdust or even hay, and you're making a compost. That stuff is going to be helpful for your gardens. Yeah. And you're naturally fertilizing your food versus waiting on fertilizer, actual industrial fertilizer with fuel. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have greenhouses set up? How are you growing your own food? Do you even know how to grow your own food? Do you have heirloom seeds? I'm just throwing out, I know I'm throwing out a whole lot of information, but these are, and it gets very deep, but you have to, for your own brain, again, mindset, compartmentalize. What is my skill set? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do for my homestead? Just make a list and then tackle each one in little baby bites. And before you know it, you're going to be really far better off than you were. And when does it start? Well, if you didn't start 3 years ago, you're way behind the power curve. I'll tell you that. However, don't let that overwhelm you because it's never too late to start. If you start tomorrow, you're going to be way better off than if you didn't start tomorrow. Then you're 6 months down the road and the stuff hits and you're like, well, because you can always ration out your supplies. If you have to start rationing supplies, meaning you might not get 3 hots in a cot today. You're going to get maybe one meal that day. You may have to have a half a meal to ration out your supplies until you can resupply it with fish, salmon, good fatty stuff, good that gives you good energy.
Yep.
You know, get a beaver, something that's got good oils in it because they're aquatic animals. You know, geese, ducks, that kind of stuff has really good oils in it. Never, ever underestimate the gourmet field taste of a nice armadillo.
Yeah. I love armadillo when I was down in Central America, man. Yeah. What do you see is happening in terms of this going down? I mean, I look at it from an economic collapse. It could be an infrastructural collapse where people are just, they suddenly are not supported because they're not getting paid, you know?
And you got to watch what these totalitarians are trying to do. These folks that are New World Order types, they're trying to corral you into a smart city, trying to get you compliant. You know, the first shot across the bow was COVID. Can I get you to stay inside, wear a mask, comply the rules? Oh, we're going to do this, do that. Oh, get the shot. I was the guy with the big middle finger up on all of that shit. You know, I didn't stay inside. I just did what I wanted, you know, and mainly because all of a sudden, if you're in a 36 square 100-foot house, for me, that becomes a 10 by 10 jail cell. And I am a freedom loving guy. Right. So, but what I'm saying is in my studies, in some of my spiritual things that I've been exposed to and things that I'm feeling, and by God, hope I'm wrong for the sake of my kids and my future grandchild coming. You know, I'm thinking, you know, August, September 2027. That's when things are going to really get to that boiling point of breaking. And what's going to happen is
how bad? I mean, what are we actually looking at? What are we seeing?
Martial law.
You know,
but
this is in response to what? This will be in response to what?
I would say some countries wanting what we have and they don't have it. You know, maybe a internal attack, maybe a terrorist attack. People want to get even with us. I mean, you know, there's an Islamic mindset in terms of what those folks believe. And if you're not, you know, and it's not xenophobe or hated Islam, I'm just calling the enemy like I see it. And if and they're telling you what they're going to do, and it's not all of them, but the more radical base of that religion wants to see all of us wiped off the face of the earth. Either you do 3 things with them: convert, become a slave, or they're going to eradicate you and execute you, get you gone. And so that's one facet. Then we have, you know, China doing their thing. And eventually, you know, the world is, you know, fresh water is getting scarcer and scarcer. Food is going to become a struggle soon. We got over 7 billion people on this planet, you know, and you know, the countries are struggling to feed folks. And our food saucers are being poisoned, you know. So if you're getting it off the shelf, chances are you're being poisoned. So you know, we have Freedom Pickles. I love pickles. Most pickles you get, now there's main brands out there, and I've studied this the last few years because I started this pickle company. They'll have 3, 4, 5, 6 chemicals in there that will give you cancer. And they've been doing this for 100 years. Like my pickles are canned the old school way, natural, a natural salt, 2-year shelf life because of it. There's no artificial or dyes in here, no GMOs, no preservatives, no fermenting agents. It's all natural goodness the way Grandma Mary and my partner's grandma did it. All right. And so it gives you a best good tasting product. And that's a skill you need to learn, how to can things so they last a long time. So what I think, it could be one of 3 things: total government civilization collapse because, people of power, whatever that is, could be a catastrophic natural disaster that could put us back into the ice ages, or another, multiple things at once, like they're trying to pandemic, countries are getting pissed at each other and they're exchanging missiles and bombs. Heaven forbid nukes ever decide to get launched, and that would just put us in the dark ages super fast. I mean, are you ready for a nuclear winter? I don't think so.
Yeah. That's that could be a real issue, and especially if they think they can control it. Because I think the people who have the nukes, and when I say who have the nukes, it's not the people who actually have them, it's the people who tell them what to do. And if they're able to play the game back and forth, they think, well, I've been telling people, it's like, well, if you just do like 5 to 10 nukes, you could keep that material, just because of the way the winds work, in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, and you could wipe out 80% of the population just by doing that. The only ones going to survive are the ones to the north and everybody to the south of that. Because it'll be so shock. It's not the idea. I'm getting one of my episodes coming up is it's the variation of extremes. It's not the idea, that you're gonna have like this major like snow everywhere in Mexico City or like in Cancun.
Right.
It's the idea that all it takes is 15 degrees. So you can just have 15 degrees near the equator, or or like in Mexico or in Colombia or in Ecuador or down in northern South America. You just need 10, 15 degrees and you can't grow things that were normally able to grow in that area.
Yeah, they changed the whole fauna, the whole ecosystem. It takes a good decade for a lot of fauna, when there's really the ecosystem, when it is affected that harshly, to morph and because life will find a way. It always does. But it takes time for it to adapt to what just happened to it.
Adaptation takes a while. I mean, that's why we've developed over thousands of years. And then if we look at going back to the petroleum, we've become so reliant on petroleum, and it's by design. If you read the stories of like my big thing right now is it's like I'm appalled at what John D. Rockefeller Jr. did when he had Standard Oil back in the early 1900s and the things that he was doing. And then you hear about Rudolf Diesel, that the diesel motor he was the one who designed it. And most people don't understand that he designed it and he made it work on peanut oil. Yeah. And he was going to the Brits because they were going to put that motor in their submarines and run it on peanut oil. And then suddenly he's crossing the channel. They go to check him in his room and they see his neatly placed clothing on the stern of the boat, and he's gone. And my view is, and people say, oh, they committed suicide. I said, no, they freaking whacked him. They killed that guy. Because can you imagine if the diesel motor was running on peanut oil, that would have just totally destroyed the petroleum industry.
Everything that the five families, true five families that are running the world in terms of financial, with their power, they've have everything set up and they all made a pack and controlled a certain piece of that pie. Yeah. And it's sad. And well, it's pretty kind of, actually, if you look at it from one point of view, it's pretty genius what they did and being able to pull it off. Yeah. And now it's been able to go for over 100 years when they did this, you know.
They made so much profit, and if you look at it, all the things that they've made off of petroleum products, off of oil, that we rely, 80% of belongings in somebody's house is made is petroleum based. It's made from oil. Yep. Fossil, quote fossil. It's not fossil
fuels.
It's
the factory being fueled by it, or transportation to get it there. Or
cups, freaking all the rubber on our wires, the grips, your plastic grips on your pliers. Yeah. We're so reliant on that stuff. And it's just like the way if that's gone, I mean, that's the reason I told everybody 2 weeks ago. I said I'm running to Walmart, and I found, like, tubs, plastic tubs, big ones, small ones, $4 each. I was freaking like filling the truck, because you're on a homestead, you're using tubs, and a lot of people don't
Yeah.
realize how much they need tubs until they don't get tubs, and they
Yeah.
can't get tubs. And it's like with ammo before. I mean, I'm good with ammo. I have no interest in buying or getting any more ammo because I got more than enough. I could feed myself, I could protect myself, and I don't
Right.
blow through that stuff. Everybody's like going to the range and blowing through it. I'm going, I don't, if you know how to dry fire, you don't have to go and do that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know? So it's the more I'm looking at, I'm starting to get into this point that I'm thinking it's just like, if it gets into a supply issue,
Yeah.
what are you telling your people, in terms of supply? Is it like buy what you can now, or learn how to make stuff yourself, be a fabricator yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to like at least a threefold principle.
Hmm.
Have your primary backup to the backup. So you want to have three ways. So stockpile goods that are going to that won't rot, or goods, blankets, things like that. Hard goods. In terms of food supplies, try to get non-perishables. Try to get not that it's very good for you, but these survival foods, these long-term meals. Those MREs. You just better have some kind of food than no food.
So
And
how much?
then
Because I mean, we've talked about food, and do you still have that line of survival food, or not
I
anymore?
did. I've discontinued it just because
Okay.
me and the person I was doing it with, we didn't see eye to eye. But
Okay.
when you
But
when you're
what
thinking in
percentage?
terms
What
of food,
percentage? Yeah, what
well,
percentage would you in terms of people will store things like, I tell people, like, okay, let's beans, because beans, not a lot of people don't know that those beans you buy at the store, you can actually put them in dirt and you'll actually have a bean plant. There's a lot of
yeah, yeah,
stuff that you can go and get. You can either cook it for the short return, or you can
yeah,
plant it and get long return, and it's fresh. So
yeah.
what
So,
percentage would you say for stock?
well, you want to be stocked up enough in terms of food. You want to be thinking about how many people in your household, and I always say plus two because you never know what guest is going to come over, and then from there, at 3 meals a day. 3 meals a day. Why plan for 3 meals a day? Because, like again earlier, I said you're going to ration.
Hmm.
So if I plan for 3 meals a day, I've just tripled what maybe I might have to eat at one meal a day. Same thing like you just said, rice, beans, things that you can cultivate, having heirloom seeds that are going to repeat and come back again and again when you replant them. You gotta think the way our ancestors did. They did everything by hand. How when if you're truly living off grid, most of the stuff you're using in your kitchen is people powered.
Yeah.
With the crank or whatever. It's not electric. You because you can. This isn't not. It might get tired over time, but it's all on you. It's not having to plug something in. So how are your systems set up to produce that food or that item?
Hmm.
And then I tell people, you want to keep stocking up, and you just keep going. You just keep going. And you may have, well, my shelves are overflowing. Good.
Hmm.
Now
Yeah.
go outside and find another way to store it. And you got to think about the rodent problem, other
Hmm.
animals getting in there. Where are you storing it? A lot of people like those I advise those trash cans, those metal trash
Hmm.
cans, because a mouse or anything, once you seal them up with some tape or whatever, they're not getting in that metal. They're
Hmm.
not getting in there, but in the plastic coat, they might get in there. Mice
Hmm.
and rats are woo, they'll
Yeah,
get in there
when they
fast.
start
And there's some,
chewing. Yeah.
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 So I tell people, however many people you got in the house, add two or three to that, like you're having some guests come over.
Hmm.
So you'll have extra. If they never come, you got extra.
Hmm.
And you just want to, you want to have initially, you want to start small because you're starting today. Let's say you start tomorrow. Work on your 30-day supply first,
Hmm.
then go 90 days, then go 60 days, then go out to a year. More than likely, most canned goods aren't going to make it past 2 years. So that you could probably still eat it,
Mm-hmm.
but most of them have a 2-year shelf life.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about those things, get a black marker, write the expiration dates on everything. When you're doing totes or cans, write on the can what's in there and what the life is on it. When it's going to run out, you got to start eating the stuff that's going to spoil first up front.
Mm-hmm.
You might be eating mac and cheese like 4 days of the week, but if that shit's going to go bad, you got to get it in you while you got it.
And you're bringing up a mind. You're actually bringing up a mindset because we have been so spoiled. If you hear the stories from your parents and your grandparents, especially your grandparents, and if you remember, if you're able to talk with your great grandparents,
Yeah.
that they were just, especially those who had, like my dad, who'd gone through the Great Depression. It's
Yeah.
just the attitude of waste. I remember, when I was a kid, and I mean, we were living in Asia, and things were cheap, and it was just like
Yeah.
you didn't realize how bountiful it was until
Right.
your father. Just when I was your age, man, I was raising rabbits just so that I could feed myself. And this is a guy who became, high up executive, in the international trade business. And
Right.
even at that, he still had this frame of mind, which is like, you don't waste that stuff. But other people
Yeah.
say, oh, don't worry about it. Well, it's okay. The can's, expired or it pop.
Yeah.
I actually just look at the can. And if it's not
Right.
popped, I'll use it,
Yeah.
So,
And then you just do the smell test, and
yeah,
then
smell.
if it's really gone south, you're gonna know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You'll know.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
know pretty quick. And
Yeah.
then it's like I'm building this pickle company pretty fast, and it's skyrocketing. And it's not because I want to make a lot of money, be a wealthy man, I mean that's great. I just want the money so I can buy more stuff.
Yeah. A lot of people think that you can hold pickles forever, but I mean, we make our own pickles too, right? And it's like,
Right.
I, tr I the can did not burst. Everything was secure on it, but when I opened it, you could tell it was just like, and it'd been like, I forgot them down in the basement,
Yeah.
and it was just like, I pulled them out. I said, "Are these still good?" And I opened them, and I was chewing on it. And it's like, I mean, it won't kill me, but it's like, it's not the same.
Yeah. The FDA puts a 2-year shelf life on there. I think some of that's just so you can keep supply going.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people can keep buying so they're not
Hmm.
sitting on it for long.
Hmm.
I mean, I probably think it would be good after 3 years if I
Hmm.
want it.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, they're too good to make it 3 years.
Good.
But
Yeah.
if you open a can up and let's say it is a vegetable or
Hmm.
it is pickles or something, and it's not good for you to consume, well, what do you do with it? Go
Hmm.
put it in the compost bin. Go
Uh-huh.
throw it in your garden and let it go back to the earth because it's still going to have some nutrients.
Hmm. Even
And
even
let
with
it
the
go.
salt, or no? Is that?
Uh, you know, the salt's going to get soaked up by the dirt and the earth
Hmm.
and those kinds of
Hmm.
things. Water's going to dilute it.
Hmm.
Um, even all living creatures, even plants, need a certain amount of salt.
Yeah.
Uh, but for us, this is a very natural salt. It's good for the human body. It's low sodium, so
Hmm.
it's a healthy salt. But
Hmm.
I see what you're saying, yes. But if you don't consume it, they drive me crazy. They go to the refrigerator. Oh, the lettuce is all rotted and bad, and then they just throw it in the trash
Yeah.
and it goes to the landfill.
Yeah.
Take that thing out. If you got pretty flowers in your front yard,
Hmm.
whatever, just put the vegetable that's rotting back into the earth.
Yeah.
It will
Yeah.
enrich your soil and make it so much better. And watch how much brighter in color your flowers become
Mm-hmm.
because it's still
Hmm.
got vitamins.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people,
Yeah.
again, it goes back to waste. People, we do not throw anything away. It's kind of like we have a separate one that's like food products, whether it's fruit leftovers, banana skins, bones, uh, cooked meats,
Yeah.
or even the scraps of the meat. I got to watch it with the meat, because I don't want a bear going in and digging it up, but I haven't had any
Right.
problems. And then there's two ways people do like the compost pile. But what we've started doing is basically we just go to like near the plants in the row and we just plant it right next to the plant and just put it straight in the ground
Right.
right there instead of having to go off and then you got all those if you've got good soil like we do now because of all the work we've done on it, those worms they will take it to all the plants that need it, which is
Yeah.
wild
Yeah.
to see. Yeah.
Sure will. And
Yeah.
then I tell people all the time in the wild, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So you got
Yeah.
to figure out what
Yeah.
is that. maybe you can't turn the heat up all the way, and you're going to put an extra sweatshirt on or something, be a little warm. You may have to, eat certain things that you might not have ever thought you would be eating in your life. I grab a bunch of grubs. I'm going to try and go catch something bigger with it and go get a bigger fish or a salmon or something that's going to get it. But if I don't, and that's all that's on the menu that day, I might be eating a grub, and it's pound for pound in protein. And I know a lot of these big world moggers are trying to get us on the insect kick, but don't sweat an insect until you try it, because pound for pound in terms of protein, they've got more protein than you're going to get out of a steak in some cases.
Yep.
Now, trust me, I like a good steak, so I'm not looking to go get a grasshopper over steak at this moment. But I have ate them.
Yeah. So you're still doing courses and everything, and how do you run them?
I have been, not as much. Last year was pretty. I was running hard with the pickle business, but I was doing double duty. So I was going to survival expos, a lot of these off-grid expos, and I was still teaching.
Yeah.
I've moved into a speaker role. Like, I'll be in May, at the end of May, on Memorial Day, I'll be out in Washington.
Oh, cool.
Teaching it at the Thrive event. So I'm one of the keynote speakers out there.
At the Thrive event? Okay.
It's called Thrive. It's out in Washington. I forget. It's near Spokane.
Oh, Spokane?
Near Spokane. It's going to be a whole weekend event. Like-minded thinkers coming together.
Oh, cool.
Talking about mindset and how to, for this very thing we're talking about.
Huh.
And it's a community of people that want me to come out there and enhance their learning.
Yeah. Well, I'll get the link from you later, but just to let everybody know, I always, whatever we talk about or I talk about, I always put links in my first pinned comment on YouTube.
Right.
So I'll put it both on the Cork Graham, Cork's Critical Thinking podcast, and also it'll be pinned as the first comment on the 5 Acres and a Moose homesteading channel.
Yeah, ejsnyder.com. You can find out more about me, what I got going on. I'd love to teach a bit more classes, and I'm trying to move into 2027 and get back to getting out in the woods more and doing that again and putting this other stuff away. In the fall, I'm at a lot of events. I'm getting ready on my social media to post my calendar of events I'm going to be at. I'm actually hosting the 9th through the 11th of October, the E.J. Snyder, the Uwharrie Survival Outdoor Overlanding Expo.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Uwharrie, North Carolina. We're going to be in New London, is what they call it. And you can just, like I said, you go to my social medias, it's posted up there all over the place. But we're going to have all kinds of folks from the survival community, from Alone, from Naked Afraid. Dave Canterbury is going to be there.
Dave.
Overlanding people. We're going to have moonshiners.
Cool.
We're going to have all kinds of folks that are off-grid teaching, everything from blacksmithing to canning. It's going to be an amazing event.
Cool.
Last year we had 10,000
Is that
people
book still available? The preparedness book that you wrote?
Yes. This book right here. Go on Amazon, look it up. E.J. Snyder Emergency Home Preparedness Guide. You can get it in, get this nice softback. It's not too expensive. It's available there. No, I don't have any on my website now. I got to get some new copies. I also wrote this book just last year called Die Trying.
Cool. I didn't know about it. You didn't tell me about that.
I wrote it last year. October is when we released it last year.
Okay.
Skull Crusher's Code for living hard and staying alive. It's a mindset book.
Okay.
Look at that. If you can't, that guy shows up in the middle of the night, you're going to be a little upset.
Show me the inside. I want to take a look at that book on the inside. Flip me through.
So inside, just page
it's mainly
after
text.
page,
Okay. Good.
Repetitive. It's not no illustrations. This book is a kick in your ass to get your ass motivated.
A lot of people need that right now because it's depressing.
You start getting prepared.
Yeah. I mean, depression is hitting a lot of people right now. It's very hard for them to really look at what's happening. That looks like a great mindset reset. Yeah.
It is. And I don't sugarcoat anything in this book. It's like it's 6 decades of hard living. lessons that I've learned,
Cool.
and I put it in a nice, pretty package with no bow. I put it in there with a big fist, and I punch you in the mouth.
Very
and
cool.
then when you wake up, I punch you in the mouth again. It's basically written in my tone and how I speak to people, and it re-hits the same main points chapter after chapter again. You'll hear them again and again.
Good.
Why? It's called, we call it pain-based learning. When your mom told you don't touch the stove, and you touch the stove, you're, oh, it's hot. She says, I told you not to touch the stove. Oh no, it's not really. No, it is hot. No, not really. Oh, it puts things in a certain part of your mind that you won't forget. And that way, it's why we call it pain-based learning.
Yeah.
Something we teach in the SEER school because when you're out there, folks, and things hit the fan, in survival, things have to become second nature. It has to be instinctive. It just has to go. That's why in the military.
Give me a mindset from SEER, because I mean there are a lot of things that are taught in SEER that, but there's people, and it applies mainly for military and government in combat. But there are points that a lot of people could benefit, man or woman, that you could pull out from SEER to share with people.
One, stay situationally aware all the time. Everything around you. It saved me in battle. It saved me in the wild when I've gone out on these really extreme survival challenges. Get plugged into the universe. Trust that gut instinct. When the hair stands up in the back of your neck, that sixth sense. Pay attention to your surroundings and what's going on around you. Don't just walk with your head in the phone or just blindly walking in conversation. I'm always checking what we say 360. Check my 6, which is behind me, what's going on in front, and then I look high and low. So you always pay attention to what's going around. What is the activity going on around? A lot of people get themselves in trouble, and a bad event's about to happen right there in front of them, and all they had to do is pick up on the signs, and they could have buggied themselves and their family out of there.
Yep.
So
the best fight is the one you don't get into. Just
exactly. So that's number one big key. Pay attention to details, and for not just what's going on around you, but in everything you do. You make a mistake once, it could cost you your life if you forget to put a pin in somewhere where it should have been, or you didn't check something, and all of a sudden, you got an explosion or something like that. Exactly. Also in SEER, we also teach people, again, be comfortable being uncomfortable, because we used to always say, your best day evading is better than your worst day evading is better than your best day in captivity. Was a big thing, but you just have to key your mindset into being absolutely devastating in life. You got to get yourself in a mindset, be prepared to do things that you normally would not do. Because I love that show, Doomsday Preppers, and they're showing, we got our security up. There's my 12-year-old Johnny and 9-year-old Stevie. You see them out there with the guns. They're getting shooting in the range. They're good shots. Well, let me tell you something, pal. When you pick up the aperture of a weapon and you take the sight on there, and all of a sudden there's a human on the other side of it, it takes a certain nerve to pull that trigger and follow through. So and now kids with their video games, maybe they would be cold and callous. I don't know, but
that's a whole different subject right there, man. I remember when Reagan was all excited about it, and he was in. And computer games were coming out. So we're going to get these fantastic pilots. They got more agility. They're all more sensitive to things. And I'm going, it's going to turn into people, who will not have that cautionary, should I pull the trigger or not, because they're playing a video game. There's no expenditure yet.
But and then the other part of that video game, the other flip side is, guess what, folks? There's no reset. There's no respawn in life when it gets real. So don't think you're gonna have 3 lives like on that Jumanji with The Rock was out there and he had all these lines on his arm. That's just not happening.
Is there anything else we can talk about before we close out? No,
I mean, I've really enjoyed this, Graham. Cork, sorry. And like I said, these books, both of them are available on Amazon.
And I'll put links on the first pin comment again. So
and you go to ejsnyder.com, link up with me on my social medias. But folks, bad days are coming.
Yeah.
And taking the time now to prepare,
Mm-hmm.
it's absolutely imperative to do it. Start now.
Yeah.
Start right now. Get your piece of paper out. Write down one column, your skill sets, and what can you do and what can't you do. How do I shore that up? Then go down every column in the survival, the pillars of survival: food, shelter, water, security, communications, first aid, prescription drugs. People forget about your eyewear. Have extra eyewear.
Yeah. I'm really
And
concerned. My father was diabetic, and that's going to be a major issue.
And people that have electronic equipment to keep them going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a
big problem. Natural disasters, and folks, if you want to come on and own a piece of the pickle and get in the pickle jar with us, just go check out my social media at EJ Snyder 333 on Instagram or over at Facebook, EJ Snyder. You'll see me with all this black war paint on my face, or go over to freedompickles.com. The invest page is right there. We've got a great fundraiser we're raising capital right now. We'd love to have you in the freedom forces of Freedom Pickles, America's pickle. Come find out why freedom never tasted so good.
Cool. Thanks, EJ. And everybody, God bless. Watch your six. And
you too, buddy.
We'll talk to you later. Cheers. Okay.
I got to go put the horses up. Let's go.